Caesars has $900 million a quarter in cash flow, but they're losing money because they owe $12.5 billion. They'll end up in bankruptcy again.
When?
I think they'll go for a while. I think Resorts World has more of a chance of exiting the North American market quicker than Caesars. Caesars has $3 billion a year in cash flow. They're more subjected to two macroeconomic factors than anything else. The commercial money paper problem, because they're in commercial money, right? And also interest rates. If a miracle happens, the interest rates go way down and money becomes readily available, Caesars could go another 20 years. If they start getting subjected to 11, 12, 13% interest rates, they're done. The point I'm trying to make is it's not about operations anymore. It's about the macro influence of the money market and commercial paper.
Welcome to Fargo Talks.
Fargo Talk.
Fargo Talks.
This is Fargo Talks.
Wasted more money but had more fun at those freaking places. And then now having like met women that are entertainers, adult entertainers.
We call them greeters on the Vegas Police.
Greeters?
Yeah.
Like it's the business model and the sales acumen that they have is second to none.
It's exhausting.
Absolutely exhausting.
Absolutely ruins it for me. I have no interest anymore.
Once you know that there's no sex in the champagne room, as Chris Rock said years ago.
That's not really true.
Also true.
Yeah.
Also true. I never experienced that, but I've heard. I have friends.
If you go in enough times, it happens.
Really?
Yeah. I think I probably was back there. Ooh, this would be a rough estimation. I would say I was 6 for 2,000. I think I'm spot on the numerator. On the denominator, I might be off.
It's not bad odds, man.
No.
That's not bad odds at all. Oh my God. Well, let's chat a little bit. Again, I don't want you talking about anything that you don't feel comfortable with.
There's nothing that I'm not comfortable with.
Okay.
Nothing.
Let's start with Resorts World.
Okay.
What happened? Like I see stuff online that you were, and this is stuff we've talked about in the past, how they are not being accurate or forthcoming with their financial projections or financial report.
I'll tell you exactly what happened from my side of the story, but I don't really know. Okay. So I've had MGM, the Durango, the Wynn, Rolex, and one other person asked me to take down videos. And they say, take down these videos. Oh, the fifth one was the rabbit, the magician's study. So I've had 5 people ask me to take down videos. I've taken down every one of those videos. So to me, it's like, why doesn't Resorts World just ask me what video they want me to take down? Right. Instead of, now listen, I was over there. A guy asked me to check out the chicken shop. I went over there, checked out the chicken shop. I'm on my way out, and there's a guy that works there, roughly my age, but much, much more attractive than I am. And he has a son who owns the Hard Hat Lounge. So he's very friendly with me simply because he was working about 2 or 3 months ago, and he said, hey, Vegas Police, my son owns the Hard Hat Lounge. Is there any story there that you want to do? And I said, well, what the hell is the Hard Hat Lounge? And he said, well, it's over on Industrial. So I go over there and I'm like, wow, look at this place. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's pretty cool. I'm in the back of the Strat. I think there's a story here. So I do a story on the Hard Hat Lounge. Jose, the taco guy, is with me, and he does a story on the burger and how the burger's pretty good. It's only $9. Drinks are only $7. It's kind of a funky behind the scenes in the back of the industrial area, in an area you might not be comfortable in. So I think there's a story there, so I do a story. So yesterday, the day that I got thrown out of Resorts World, which was 4 or 5 days ago, he's working. He says, hey, Vegas Police, wow, that was so nice what you did for my son. I really appreciate that. And I'm with Anne-Marie, and he wants to show Anne-Marie his trip from Death Valley up to the top of Mount Whitney. It's the largest elevation change in North America, even though it's only 83 miles apart. And he went, in the morning, he was at Death Valley. He went to the top of Mount Whitney. Okay, we're listening to him tell us our story. I like to hike. Anne-Marie will go on long walks. Overcome security. Now remember, I'm there doing 2 mitzvahs. I'm there having lunch for somebody who has a shop there who contacted me and said, please check my chicken, please check my chicken, please check my chicken. And I'm there talking to a floorman who I did a favor for. I'm not getting paid for either one of those deals. I'm a player at Resorts World. I've probably lost $10,000 in the last year playing craps. I don't really know. I don't go crazy. I go to the overpriced Starbucks all the time. I'm in there all the time. But at the same time, I'm making obnoxious videos. No doubt about it. Very obnoxious. Now, to be fair, my ratio on obnoxious to positive is probably 10 to 1 or 8 to 1. But I've got at least, and I almost feel like putting them together, but I'm not even going to waste my time anymore with the Resorts World. But I've made at least 12 to 15 positive videos, and maybe I've made 60 to 80 negative ones, okay? It might even be a lower ratio, 4-1, doesn't matter. The point that I made in my post to TikTok was, I like MGM. I like Bill Hornbuckle. I think he's a super cool guy. I love the fact that he was a busboy and now he's the CEO. I was just telling someone this on a different podcast. Amazing story. What's going to happen now when I'm at MGM and I walk by and they've put a 4th zero on the roulette wheel? Or they've dropped blackjack down to even money? You know it's coming. Because if the trend continues, you're going to see blackjack at even money on the strip, I don't know, 5 years from now when they get desperate enough, right? I'm now gun shy about making a video about the fact that blackjack is even money instead of 6 to 5. You know, it used to be 3 to 2. I'm now gun shy about that. And that to me, I feel is a violation of us as customers and as influencers and as content creators. I said on my post, I said, how many more times now am I going to be able to make the video about the $30 garbage breakfast sandwich and rotten coffee at Paris? I mean, the coffee is awful. It tastes like battery acid, and the sandwich is like $18 or $19 for a croissant with a piece of ham and a dead egg on it, right? How many times am I going to be able to make that video before I get into trouble? So to me, what Resorts World did is extremely triggering, extremely evil. And then, of course, the dinosaur piles on. This woman has an order, not an order of protection. She sent me a cease and desist for calling her the dinosaur. She tells the whole world that I harass her. On one live, she said that I'm a violent person and she fears for her life. She talked about getting a gun. She's talked all this stuff. But in the meantime, the minute I got thrown out of Resorts World, she's right there on social media. Again, putting a post up about this one post I remember. He only knows 1% of the financial. 1% of the financial. I honestly believe I know more than just about every casino executive in this town about the financials of these casinos. I was just on a podcast where I ran down how I know the Wynn gives away $1.45 million a day. I take the gross casino winnings. I take the taxable casino winnings. Nobody imputes this. They don't have to pay taxes on their comps. I come up with the number. I know the casino tax rate is 7%. Now I know the Wynn pays $1.45 million a day in comps out to people. Nobody's putting this together. I read every Wynn financial when it comes out. I read every Resorts World financial when it comes out. I read MGM. I read all the public companies. Yeah. The Strap made 18 cents last quarter, right? Down from 25 cents. They just announced a $1 dividend. MGM made $540 million last quarter. Caesars has $900 million a quarter in cash flow, but they're losing money because they owe $12.5 billion, and they have $12.5 billion in capital leases as part of the REIT scam run by Vici and GLPI. That's a whole nother thing. I could go into that. I am telling you that, and this is not ego. This is not arrogance. I was born with a genetic mutation, and I only store numbers related to casino gambling in my head like this, and that gets me back to where I need to be. It's the same thing as a drug addict using drugs. You can tell by the way I'm telling you this stuff. I'm getting high on these numbers. I'm getting high on this existence. So what happens? Every quarter, Resorts World comes out with its earnings, and I saw them crowing about 8 or 9 quarters ago. You're not going to be able to find this anymore because they scrubbed it off the internet. I saw them crowing 8 or 9 quarters ago about them making $23 million in cash flow in a quarter. So I immediately, because I'm quick, I take the $23 million, I times it by 4. I say, okay, that's $92 million. It's a $4.3 billion capital investment. And I say to myself, oh, they almost earned a 3% ROI on a $4.3 billion investment. And they're over there bragging like they discovered the wheel, right? So now after that, every quarter I'm over there and I look at their quarterlies, 40 million, 50 million, 42 million, 55 million. You times it by 4, you get 200 million divided by 4.3 billion, and you get an ROI of 4.8%. They borrowed money last July 23rd. You can look this up on the internet. They borrowed $800 or $900 million at 8.75%. They floated a bond. The date is July 23rd. Go and look it up. You see the way I know this stuff? So now February 27th comes, and Genting Berhad in Malaysia is supposed to report its earnings on February 27th for their 4th financial quarter of 2023. I'm waiting like a dog waits for the mailman. Why? Because I'm a sick human being. This is what does it for me. Financials, casinos, gambling, this is what does it for me. Other things do it for other people, but this is what does it for me. They don't post until the next day. They post on February 28th. Much to my chagrin, much to my bewilderment, much to my shock, they did not report the Las Vegas number. They took the Las Vegas number and put it in their North American number, so I cannot break it out of Queens, Catskills, and Bimini. But not only that, and this is the part that triggered my video, and this is the part that's effing galling beyond galling to me, and the SEC should really look into this. They went back and scrubbed out their Las Vegas EBITDA numbers for every quarter back to their open. So now when I look at the last quarter, which I already made a video on because I know what their EBITDA is, and the quarter before that, and the quarter, What right do they have to do that? There are investors that own this garbage stock at $4.50. It's a publicly held company. You could call your broker tomorrow and buy 1,000 shares of this garbage, right? You scrubbed out all your, and not only did they scrub it out, the guy that handles Asian gaming, he didn't have it in his article because he can't access it in the quarterlies anymore. Las Vegas Review-Journal can't say, and they were saying it. If you go back in the Las Vegas Review-Journal and you look back 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, Las Vegas Review-Journal, Resorts World made $52 million this quarter. It's gone. They scrubbed it. So that maybe put up the video. And I don't know if that's the video that got me thrown out or the video of me laughing of the 2-0 roulette versus the 3-0 roulette. I don't know what video got me thrown out. Why don't you tell me what video you're throwing me out on? I'll scrub the video. It's evil. I mean, at what point does this become evil? Again, I ask you, if I'm at MGM and Bill Hornbuckle has decided to drop blackjack to even money, am I allowed to address that? Or am I going to be banned from every MGM property? I want someone to answer that question. I want to know what I can do and can't do. I already am walking around the Wynn, and I love the Wynn. Wynn social media does not want me. Doesn't matter. I love them. Red Rock Resorts, social media does not want me. I don't care. I think Red Rock people, I think they're the most talented casino operators in Las Vegas. I would say the Wynn, but the Wynn have a problem in Macau, which I could address, but I'm not getting too far into the weeds. So I love these places. They don't want me. They don't necessarily like me. They don't necessarily want me around, but I love them. I don't ever want to be told, you can't go to Red Rock. You can't go to Durango. You can't go to Green Valley Ranch. I'm afraid now. They put the fear of God into me.
How were you ejected from Resorts World?
I was talking to the floor man about his son, who's in a rock band with Slash, and cavelling and giving of myself and giving the love, and he was giving me the love, and he watches the show and he likes the videos, and it's nothing but love. And the redcoats come over. First of all, dressing your security guards like assholes, that is indicative of who you are as a corporation. If you go to the Wynn Encore and you look at the security guards, how are they dressed? They're dressed like safari guides. Their outfits are absolutely beautiful, right? It's stunning.
It's true.
Why are you dressing your security guards like assholes? That's number one. I'll give you another example of the lack of nuance, the lack of subtlety, and the lack of capability and talent at Resorts World. And I realized this 2-3 months ago. I never made a video about it because it's really nitpicking. Rule the world. Rule the world. It's a dickhead slogan for your advertising, right? I'm the ruler of the world. Do you know what the slogan is for the Venetian Palazzo? Would you like to know?
Yeah.
Desire the world.
It's better.
You see the difference?
Much better.
You see the difference? You see why these people don't get it? They have $5.5 billion on their books in North America. I could explain to a casino executive or someone who can understand why they're not going to make it in Queens because they have to borrow marginal money at 8, 9, 10%, and it's a $6 billion entry fee to get it to have a full casino in Queens. They can't borrow $6 billion at 10% and get a return with a 40% tax rate on slots. No. I'm pretty certain that nobody will make money in New York. The Wynn, I think, has a shot if they get it on the West Side and they pay the $10 billion. And they have a 40% slot tax rate in New York. And they're going to make you pay $1 billion up front just for the privilege of being in New York. You see the arrogance of the state of New York?
Oh, yeah.
So Resorts has no talent. I said this on another podcast. I had a full disclosure. Sorry, I cheated on you. I had a podcast at 1 o'clock.
Fine.
The companies that have monopolies or close to monopolies that come to Las Vegas, they never make it. Genting Highlands had a monopoly in the highlands of Malaysia for I don't know how many years. They've grown fat on the land. They have no talent. They don't know what it's like to compete. Mohegan Sun is over there at the Virgin. They had a duopoly in Connecticut. Both Mohegan Sun and Foxwoods went out into the world and lost their tuchus. You can go right now to the financials of Mohegan Sun, and I haven't even addressed this in a video yet because I grow tired. They lost $97 million last quarter. Do you know what Mohegan Sun's big move is? The geniuses over there at Mohegan Sun? We're going to go to South Korea, follow this, and open a casino called Inspire for just tourists because the government there will not let them serve the local population. There's 50 million people in South Korea. Do you know what the South Korean government just announced yesterday? Would you like to know? We are going to take our government-run casino that is only for people living in South Korea, 50 million people, and we're tripling the size from, listen to the size tripling, 4-acre casino, because every table is taken, every slot, to 12 acres. And Mohegan Sun has the arrogance, the stupidity, the temerity, really, to take their tribal people's money and go to stay in Connecticut and take their money and go to South Korea and open a I don't know the price of the operation, so I'm not going to bullshit you, but it's got to be in the several $100 million number, and open a foreigners casino in South Korea. This is our brilliant idea. We're from Resorts World. Our brilliant idea is to put $4.3 billion on the strip across from the Wynn Encore because we're going to compete with them. You know, I mean, the level of stupidity. So the stupidity that I see. Now, somebody said to me, hey, Vegas policy, you're always so negative. You're always so hater. Is anybody making money in Las Vegas? Yes. Boyd Casinos makes lots of money. Station Casinos makes lots of money. Strat is making money. Wynn is making money hand over fist. MGM is destroying Caesars. South Point, I know he's killing it even though his financials are not out there. I know Jonathan Jostle's doing great at the Plaza. Yeah, there's 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 casinos that are killing it that know what they're doing. And then there's these people. Now, it's an interesting story to see the ignorance, and again, I hate to use the word temerity twice, of someone like Resorts World to come here and think like they have. I was a player at Resorts World, and I couldn't even find a casino host. The story now with the Fontainebleau, and I got stuff all the time from the Fontainebleau, month 1, month 2, month 3. Hi, my name is Bob. I have a $20,000 bankroll. Hi, my name is Larry. I have a $40,000 bankroll. Hi, my name is Sam. I really want to play at the Fontainebleau. I contacted them 9 times, and I can't get anybody to call me back. Failure.
Insane.
This is what's going on. So you expect me not to make a story about it? No, I'm probably not going to go in the Fontainebleau again because I'm afraid of getting barred from there.
Now, let's say Resorts World. Are you 86th? Like you cannot.
I don't know what it means. It's so galling,
right?
It's so
weird.
upsetting.
It's weird.
But again, the part of it that bothers me is like when I see that 4th zero on the roulette wheel, and I don't know where. Am I going to be able to say, well, hello, it's Vegas Police. Can you believe they put a 4th zero on the roulette wheel over here at XYZ? Or is the security guard going to throw me to the curb?
Yeah.
I think the Gaming Commission needs to take a look at this. I really do. The Nevada Gaming Commission needs to figure out what the hell's going on. And then even more galling. So where I create a mess, the dinosaur and her cronies come in right after me and tell you, Resorts World is a quality property. One of her cronies made it one of her top hotels in Vegas. Are you kidding me?
Full disclosure, the dinosaur is Vegas Starfish.
I can't tell you that.
Okay. You cannot confirm.
Well, everybody who follows me, the million people who watch me, they know who the dinosaur is.
It may or may not be Vegas Starfish. May or may not.
Draw your own conclusions.
Fine. Okay.
But anyway, wherever I leave a mess. So I'll tell you a funny one. And I really believe this. So I went to the Circa. They were very kind to me. The social media guy there. In fact, someone at the last podcast knew his name. Very kind guy. I'm sorry that Richard. His name's Richard Wilk. Richard Wilk, super nice to me. Took care of me, gave me the love. He was the first person who really courted me in Las Vegas. 2 or 3 months goes by. I'm in there. They won't let me sit in the sports book for some reason. I have no idea why. I show the casino, but I'm here to do it. They won't let me sit there. It was NCAA Saturday or whatever. At the same time, someone was in my live. I was live. I had 500 people watching me. And I told them that I have beautiful feet. And he's, oh, let me see your feet. 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 I'm always trying to make my chat happy. I'm always trying to make people laugh. I do not see feet as a sexual thing. I went in the bathroom at the Circa. I pulled my sock off. I played with my toes extensively. Of course, the dinosaur and or Mr. Irrelevant, another name that you may or may not know, Mr. Irrelevant. He was a social media guy. He invented attacking the hell out of people. When he dies and he goes to God, God's going to say, what'd you do with your life? Well, I invented in 2007 attacking people on the internet. Go directly to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200, sir. Yeah. So that idiot and the dinosaur took my video and they sent it to Richard Wilk. So Richard Wilk calls me up and I left it on YouTube. It was on YouTube. I didn't care. I wasn't embarrassed. It's my feet. I'm messing around with my feet. I think it's funny. So Richard says, look, you're making the Circle look bad. Take the video down. I said, Richard, you're a first-class guy. You gave me an opportunity. You know, I'm sorry I blew my opportunity over there. I took the video down. I did. I took the video down for the Circa. I respect the Circa. When you see somebody like Derek Stevens just invent a whole new concept like that and put his money where his mouth is, $1 billion, and he's a gambler, and I've never seen anything like it, I respect the creativity, the entrepreneurship. If you really look at Vegas, the people that are moving Vegas are the Steve Siegels, the Jonathan Jostles, the Derek Stevens, the Michael Gawns, the individual operators who have free reign and are creative and want to give the Steve Wynn, well, Steve Wynn's gone, Sheldon Adelson. These were guys who answered to no one, and they did incredible stuff. So I take the video down. Mr. Irrelevant takes the video and sends it to Circa to cue them in that I'm on there or whatever. So Mr. Irrelevant says, Circa says, he's not 86th. Meanwhile, the dinosaur tells the whole world that every casino in Las Vegas hates me and I'm 86th from everywhere. At the time, I wasn't 86th from anywhere. But the point I'm trying to make is I left Resorts World and she jumped right in there to say what a great place it is. I left Circa. They got burned, though. I left Circa and she went right in there and she told everybody how great Circa was. But she just did a video of the D saying it's a filthy hotel. She had it up about a week ago. Why did she do a video of the D being a filthy hotel? I think because they called her up and told her Vegas Policy's not banned, and that triggered her. So you have these influencers that love you, hate you, love you, hate you, depending on what you're doing as far as treating them. I will tell you straight out, and I really mean this. I don't care if the Wynn takes me on the strip, says, you're never coming in here again, Vegas Policy. You're a piece of garbage. And we're going to have to flog you 5 times. If they do that to me tomorrow, on Sunday, I'm still telling you that it's the finest, most incredible, most amazing hotel casino in the entire world. That I go in there and I have an emotional reaction. That I go in there and I'm happy just to have a cup of coffee or a $20 drink. And they only charge $20 for a drink in there because they don't gouge you in the Wynn. People don't realize that. Or $20 for a cocktail and just sit there and in the splendor and the glory of the Wynn. And again, I know I'm repeating myself. I'll only do it once. Same thing with Red Rock. Red Rock is the most gorgeous casino, locals casino. How could it be any better? It's the most beautiful place in the world. So their social media won't show me their expensive rooms. Who cares? This is the way I operate. But if you're a jerk-off operation, I'm sorry. I'm going to call you out on it.
What is if you're a local, your top 3 favorite properties in town?
Local properties?
Well,
there's no question that it's the Green Valley Ranch, Red Rock, and the Durango.
Do you think Hank's is the best happy hour in the history of mankind?
I don't even know what Hank's happy hour is.
Oh my God, Paul. Oh, we have to go. I'll take you.
What is it?
It's literally like Jesus Christ himself said, thou shalt make a dirty martini. Boop. And he touched fucking Hank's.
How much is it?
It's half price.
Okay.
So I want to say like $12, 12,
That's still
13
a lot.
bucks.
I mean, I did PTs the other day. The drinks was $6 at half hour.
But it's Hank's. It's just
one martini's not enough and two's too many.
Bang Bang cauliflower. Like they're the little like.
I love Bang Bang cauliflower.
It's just like I have goosebumps. It's next fucking level.
Where is it?
It's right across from Batiglia.
Okay.
And there's a line.
How did I never heard?
There's a line of people.
Well, I lost interest of the line.
Well,
I don't do lines.
It starts because I think they open, I want to say 4. By 3:30, there's a line of people that get in.
I don't do lines.
And most of the bar, like you can get in, but half the bar is taken by Keno, rated Keno players that want to stop in to have a Bang Bang shrimp. Or a shrimp cocktail or whatever. They have like beef Wellington sliders. Oh, Jesus.
But the line already came in there.
The line, it subsides fast.
Okay.
And you give someone a little bit of love and remember you. It's fine.
Right.
But the service is fantastic. The drinks, the martini glass.
How did I never see it? Bally's is across the street from Batiglia.
The martini glass is literally ice.
Yeah, okay.
It's ice.
They know what they're doing.
It to you. So it is to me the best part of Green Valley Ranch.
So
back when I was single, I would bring girls there for
it's in
staycations.
Green Valley Ranch. I thought you said it was across from Batista's.
No, Batiglia.
Oh, you said Batiglia and I heard Batista's, and then I'm thinking,
good, Batiglia.
But Bally's is across.
Green Valley Ranch, and it is just. I love it there.
I could talk. I went into Green Valley Ranch. I walked in and I said, "Wow, this is a locals casino."
Yeah.
Green Valley Ranch and Red Rock are better than 80 to 90% of the properties on the strip.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Caesars and the flawed makeup.
All right. Well, I told the Caesar story. So what happened is. He got the ear of the Carano family. Tom Reed got the ear of the Carano family, El Dorado. I don't know how he got their ear. Maybe he met him at a cocktail party. I have no idea. He became CEO of Caesars of El Dorado. He became CEO of El Dorado for the Carano family in northern Nevada. And he started buying up every property in the country. Why? Interest rates were 2% and 3%. So he went and he analyzed a deal and he saw an ROI of 7 or 8%. on a property, and he bought them up borrowing. I'm pretty sure that his borrowing rates when interest rates were zero was about 3.5% or 4%. I would have to check the financials on that. You can get the yield curve right online, what you pay with junk. Right now, junk is 7.5%. Junk was 9.5%. 1%, dinosaur. I know 1%. Junk was 9.5% a couple of months ago. When junk rates dropped to 7.5%, Caesars immediately refinanced several $1 billion of debt. That was another video that I did. But the point is, interest rates for junk were 4% as near as I can remember. I'd have to look at the chart. So he went around the country and he bought. He made a stop in Atlantic City and he paid $1.85 billion for Carl Icahn's garbage in Atlantic City. Carl Icahn paid almost nothing for Tropicana Atlantic City. I heard he paid $90 million in bonds money. I could be wrong. And he paid maybe $250 million for Luminaire Place in Missouri. So Carl Icahn has this Tropicana company, and it actually had a stock. It was called Trop. I remember it was $18 a share. He eventually sold it for $90 to Rieg. And he sold it to Rieg for $1.85 billion. I don't know whether it was just before the pandemic. It might have been just before the pandemic. So now Carl Icahn sees this guy buying every casino. This is a fascinating story, and it is 100% true. So Carl Icahn sees this guy buying every casino in the country as much as he can and folding it into Eldorado, including the Tropicana and Luminaire Place for $1.85 billion. That's the number. Wow, I know that number. 1%, I know. I'm never going to stop being irate about the fact that she posted, I know, 1%, whatever. So Carl Icahn has what's known as a very loose poker player. Does he not? He's got a guy who's going to play 2-7 all in. He's got a guy who's going to play king jack off all in. I hope some people get the poker references. So what does Carl Icahn do? Because he's brilliant. He goes out into the marketplace, and I will never forget this as long as I live. He goes out into the marketplace and he starts buying the newly not bankrupt Caesars Palace. Now, Caesars Palace was bankrupt in 2016, 2017. They went through this long bankruptcy. I could tell you the whole story. There's actually a book written about it, an incredible book written about it, about the hedge funds fighting over Caesars. But fast forward to 2018, 2019. Caesars is no longer bankrupt. They refloat the stock. The stock is $8 a share. It's garbage because of the amount of debt they have. One day I wake up and I read every article and I see Carl Icahn is buying Caesars at $8 a share. Why in God's name is Carl Icahn buying the worst garbage for $8 a share? Heavily indebted. There's really no equity there. And I'm scratching my head. I have no idea. A year goes by, 11 months, 10 months, 14 months. Maybe I missed the middle of the story. It doesn't matter. He sells the whole pile of trash to Tom Rieg and puts $500 million in his pocket. He saw a guy coming down the street buying every house. So he bought up the worst house on the street. And when Tom Rieg came by, he said, look, I got a house on your street. Here's your garbage. So now Carl Icahn, who's a genius, I give him all the credit in the world, took another $500 million out of a deal. So now they owe another $500 million. So instead of owing $11.8 billion, they owe $12.3 billion or whatever it is. And it was just another piece of the carcass. This has been going on at Caesars Palace since they threw out the mafia and Lums from Miami bought them in the 70s. Caesars Palace, because of its location, because of male ego, because it's Caesars Palace, because of those chicks in the togas, whatever, has been picked over and ransacked more than Carthage. You know what I'm saying? There's kind of an irony there. It's kind of an irony that, here's an irony you'll never hear. Caesar's Palace, Caesar, and the Romans, who used to pick over the whole world, have been picked over in Las Vegas for the last 50 years. They've been owned by this one. They've been owned by that one. They've been a floated stock. They've been taken private. They merged with Harrah's. They did this. They did that. They merged with Bally's. And the Nevada Gaming Commission in May and June of 2004 had a lot of balls, a lot of nerve, and I believe they made a terrible mistake letting two companies control 17 properties south of the Maginot Line. Okay, I'm getting a little dramatic. I know that where Mirage is not the Maginot Line, but for me it is, because everything Mirage North is generally independent, good compers, they're competing, and then everything south of Mirage is all corporate, those 17 properties. All the way down to, is there an independent property south of the Mirage? I think every single one is either MGM or Caesars. All the way down to the South Point is independent, right? There's not a single independent property. Don't you think that's a mistake by the Nevada Gaming Commission? I do, because now you have Planet Hollywood, The Link, Harrah's, all that garbage at Caesars. Have you been to Planet Hollywood? It's the most non-creative, boring place in the world. The rooms haven't been updated. Who cares? If you had kept those properties private, or you had made them divest, or whatever it was, there's entrepreneurs all over this country who would love to have a Las Vegas property and spend. I mean, at this point, Planet Hollywood is probably worth at most $400 million, right? $500 million. I don't even know, because I don't know the cash flow of it, because they don't publish the cash flow of an individual property. But let's just say it's worth $400 million. Some young whippersnappers, God, I'm getting old if I'm saying that, who made a couple of $1 billion in their 30s are going to go, you know what? Let's pick up Planet Hollywood. Let's reinvigorate the property. Let's put a lounge in the basement. Let's put the new pool on the upstairs. Let's get Tiesto over there. Let's do this. Let's do that. They're going to breathe life into Las Vegas. Instead, we basically have rotting carcasses belonging to a giant rotting carcass, and that being Caesars. I can't throw these aspersions at MGM, because MGM still keeps it going. I mean, Mandalay Bay is fantastic. You know, Excalibur, the updated tower, is great. You know, they still are keeping it going because they have some talent. But come on, make Caesars divest. They'll end up in bankruptcy again.
When? What's the over-under on Caesars bankruptcy?
Well, they have $900 million in EBITDA. EBITDA. Anyway, I say that wrong in all the financial. You don't know anything about finance because you can't say EBITDA correctly. Oh, whatever. I think they'll go for a while. You know, these large companies like Caesars and I think Resorts World has more of a chance of exiting the North American market quicker than Caesars. Caesars has $3 billion a year in cash flow. So what happens with Caesars is they're more subjected to two macroeconomic factors than anything else. I don't know whether you know this or not, but the capital markets are extremely constrained in the commercial space in 2025. There's no money available because fully 1/3 of the office space in North America is underwater.
Yeah.
So Caesars is subjected to the commercial money paper problem because they're in commercial money, right? They're subjected to that, and also interest rates. If a miracle happens and the commercial money markets, the interest rates go way down and money becomes readily available, Caesars could go another 20 years. If they start getting subjected to 11, 12, 13% interest rates, they're done. How are they going to pay 11, 12? They're paying, they just refloated some junk at 7.5. And I watched the junk go from 9.5 to 7.5, and I watched them quickly refinance that because the money was due, I think, next year, and they refinanced to 2031 or 2032. The point I'm trying to make is it's not about operations anymore. It's about the macro influence of the money market and commercial paper. What fun is that? Let's go back to when it was about your operations, not about the macro markets. Yeah. And it's the macro markets are dominating because the Nevada Gaming Commission allowed those two mega mergers in May and June of 2004. What are you doing, Nevada Gaming Commission? I hate to even say it because next thing you know, the Nevada Gaming Commission will put a hit out on me. You know what I mean? Is this where we're at?
I think it's interesting that how they're trying to control the narrative of squelching you.
I don't know what they're doing.
Because
I don't want to give myself too much power.
Well, but it's, to me, being a digital guy, it's the dumbest thing they could do because if you 86 me from here, that's fine. I have all this other room.
Have you read the comments on this? Every single person says, I'm never going there. I'm never going there. You could go you could go on my post and you can count up well over 100 players, because it's all gamblers following me who say, I'm never going to go there. I'm never going to go. Because it's not a great property. Listen, it's got some positives, and I've done positive videos of it. During the AVNs, it was crowded. I felt a lot of good energy in there. I did a video on that. The rooms are clean, decent, nice. The property is very sterile. But if you like a nice, quiet, sterile place with a good, clean room, and you want to pay $150, it's a great property. Yeah. It doesn't financially work at $4.3 billion, but it's a great property for that. You have to understand something. I was in there all the time at Starbucks. I was in there all the time losing money at Crapless Craps. I was in there all the time talking to executives. You know, it's a violation. It's a violation. I'm sorry I called you out on your BS, but to me, it's a violation.
Are they the worst property in Las Vegas?
No. Caesars is the worst properties in Las Vegas. Are you kidding me?
I had to ask.
Resorts World, if I was rating from 1 to 10, Resorts World, as far as a property staying there and having an okay time and kind of being bored, it's a 7. It's a 7. When you consider price, cleanliness, views, LA 66. Ask me how many times I've been at LA 66 and went, look at this fantastic view of the Strip. I've made an absolute minimum of 5 and maybe as many as 8 videos talking about how great LA 66 is. My beef with Resorts World was their capital structure and their cruelty/meanness towards players, and the fact that they don't know how to give, and the fact that they're just completely mismanaged from a casino standpoint. In other words, your casino is so boring. Also, why would you put a gigantic abandoned mall in between your casino and the Las Vegas Strip? Hi, I'm from Malaysia. I'm going to do the stupidest thing in the world. I tell people this. I've told people this on the live. I'm going to tell you. I'll tell whoever. If you gave your 9-year-old, let's go over to Resorts right now. Let's go look at the corner. Let's go look at the abandoned, semi-abandoned taco shop and outdoor eating space that's outside in front of the place, right? If you gave your 9-year-old $1,000 and you said, I want you to draw what you think a casino should look like on the Las Vegas Strip for daddy, your 9-year-old is going to come up with a more compelling design than what they have on the corner over there across the street from the Wynn Encore. I guarantee it. Your 9-year-old is going to put maybe a carousel like they have at the Wynn. Your 9-year-old is going to maybe put a Ferris wheel. Your 9-year-old is maybe going to put a, what do they call that? A roller coaster. Maybe some horses. Maybe a screaming goat. Anything is more compelling than what they have going on that $40 million an acre property. Have you been there?
Oh, yeah.
What are they doing on that corner? Does anybody know? Why do they have an abandoned?
No idea.
They have an outdoor restaurant space there. It's basically an acre. You're going to tell me that you can't find 3 celebrity chefs and recreate a Lake of Dreams situation right there? Go over to Steve Wynn's place. Go take a good look at the Lake of Dreams. You're right on the Strip. Build a Lake of Dreams exactly like that with a mountain with 2 portals going up. Put 3 celebrity chefs there and figure out what the hell you're doing because you have no idea what you're doing. Am I wrong? So I want somebody in Las Vegas to tell me that I'm wrong. What is that outdoor restaurant space there? The taco place. What's there? I've seen like one customer. That Brett Torino paid $40 million an acre for the 2 acres in front of MGM.
Yeah.
He just bought directly across the street. This is lesser property, but he just bought 10 acres for $125 million. So that property in front of Resorts World is worth somewhere between $12 million and $40 million an acre. I'm going to say $20 million, back of the envelope, out of my ass number. Why do you have a $20 million piece of property laying fallow for 3 years in front? Why? Or 60, it might even be 3 acres all in. You see how this stuff makes me crazy? I want a casino executive to come in here and tell me I'm wrong. I want someone to come in here and challenge me. You know, the other day I did the numbers for Planet 13. So I go and I look and I see the operating money that they take in. I think they make $11 million gross for the quarter on the cost of what they sell minus whatever, $11 million on the marijuana. I'm a little loose on these numbers because I don't have the financials in front of me. I see that they spend $15 million on their rent. It's the largest cannabis place in the world. On their rent, on their executives, on their employees. So they have a $4 million operating loss. I take $4 million, I divide it by 9. That's their operating loss. It says it right there on the internet, on Yahoo Finance, right underneath their financials. Operating loss for the quarter, $4 million. All the other stuff is noise. I'm just talking about the operating costs. There's 92 days in the quarter. I do the math, whatever. I think it was $3 million and change. It comes to $42,000 or $43,000 a day. I make a video. TikTok barred the video because it was marijuana video. It's not, but it's running on Instagram. This particular establishment is losing $43,000 a day. Why? Not because they're bad people, but because people who smoke marijuana are going to go buy $40 halves or $100 for an ounce. It's generally, in general, it's a commodity product. And in general, the United States is producing tens of thousands of tons of this crap, right? And I smoked for 8 years, so I don't want to disparage it. I had to get off it because it was causing crazy depression. It is overproducing. It's a weed. So what does it grow like?
Weed.
It grows like a weed.
Yeah.
So your supply is going up. You have people who are not necessarily the most price insensitive people in the world. They want to buy their drug as cheap as possible, right? So those 2 things come together. The price goes down. So it wasn't a great business model. That's what I'm addressing. But someone sends me a video and they say, look, Vegas Pauly, see, they played your video on Weed News or this. I don't remember what site it was. It was some big weed
Illustrated,
whatever it was.
Like
they played your video. I go and I read the comments. This is what I read. And I actually took a picture of it. I would love to show it to you, but I won't get too deep into this. Vegas Pauly C is a compulsive gambling scammer He is a liar, and no one in Las Vegas likes him. And I don't know why you guys are listening to him. He should go back to New York. He's a piece of garbage. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but I actually have a picture of what this guy wrote. Then I click on the name. He's a director of something at Planet 13. This is what's going on in Vegas. And people called him out on it in the comments like, but you work there. I don't have any animus towards Planet 13. I think it's gorgeous. I think if you're a tourist and you want to get high and you want to buy your marijuana and you want to have a good time, go over to Planet 13. If you're a tourist and you want a good, clean hotel with a great room for $150 and you're 25 years old, I was just talking about this on the last podcast, and you want to go to Zouk and you want to get your drink on and you want to go to Resorts World. It's the perfect property for you. I'm talking about them as incompetent, poorly structured corporate entities. That's what my page is about. That's what I know. I know how to do the Steve Wynn. I don't have a casino. I'll never get a casino license in a million years because I'm a certified lunatic, right? That's another problem with Nevada. Attention, Nevada, to take someone like Derek Stevens, I don't know if you were here in 2013, they put him through 18 months of looking in his underwear and up his tuchus to give him a gambling license. The guy just wants to come here. Look, I don't know him at all. I've never even met him. Even though I was over at the Circa, he has no interest in me. But I saw things at the Circa, and I'm going to talk about the Golden Gate for a second here. I see things at the Golden Gate that only an entrepreneur, a creative type, someone who is really a genius would do. And I'm going to address the Golden Gate right now. Any corporation in America would have taken the Golden Gate right on the corner there of Main and Fremont and turned it into a slot house, raised the take to 12% on the slots, and tried to get some tourists in there and sell them baseball caps. What did he do? Upstairs, nobody knows this, upstairs at the Golden Gate are the two most beautiful suites. I stayed in one of them. He spent, I'm guessing, I don't know this number, so I'm going to talk bullshit right now. I'm guessing he spent $4 million on each one of these suites. They were so relaxing. They're right on Fremont Street. If you ever have the opportunity to stay at the Golden Gate penthouse suites, there's two of them at the top of the Golden Gate that nobody even knows are there. I recommend it beyond highly, right? So he did that. Then you go into the place.
How much is it, by the way?
I don't know. I was comped.
Oh, of course you were.
Richard Wilk picked it up for me. Thank you, Richard Wilk.
I'm curious what it goes for a night.
Downstairs is an active casino with great casino rules, 3-2 on blackjack, 10 times odds on the crap table. I was in there a week ago on a Wednesday, on a weeknight. I walked in there. I was blown away by the fact that every single gaming position in the table games pit was taken. There were girls dancing. This is a guy who you almost didn't license in Nevada because you're so uptight. And look at what he did for the Golden Gate. The Golden Gate is the oldest hotel in Las Vegas. It's opened in 1905. They didn't even have wood, so they built it out of concrete, or they didn't have concrete. Yeah, they didn't have wood. They built it out of concrete. He saved history, and you tried to not give him a license? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's going on. They have a fountain, and I don't know whether Derek would know. I don't know whether Derek spent $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000. But in the back of the high limit area, and someone from the show turned me on to this, there's a fountain from 1909, the original water fountain from the Golden Gate from 1909 is behind everything. People don't even know that it's there. It is so cool. And I take my viewers sometimes back there and I've made videos of it. It is so cool to walk back there. If you love history, if you love gambling like I do, if you love people who, hold on to or preserve things like this. And, I'll segue now and I'll blow some smoke up Jonathan Jossell's tuchus. Jonathan Jossell, it blows my mind, has a dinner series with Oscar Goodman every 6 to 8 weeks. He has everybody go to Oscar's Steakhouse. He's invited me twice already. It's mind-blowing that I'm sitting. You don't understand that I'm an absolute nobody who watched Casino 15 years ago. Now, let me finish. Who watched Casino 15 years ago, who had $120,000 in credit card debt. Emery knows all of this, who barely could pay his mortgage, who's barely holding on in life. And I'm watching Casino and I'm drooling, right? I'm watching the Joe Pesci character and I see the real Oscar Goodman as the lawyer. The fact that 15 years later, and I know Jonathan Jossell from 2011 because he bought all the stuff from the Fontainebleau, and I read about him in 2011. He took all of the new furniture and new accoutrement from the Fontainebleau when it was fallow, and he put it into the plaza. He made the place beautiful on the inside. So here I am, a big nobody, please, and I'm in Oscar's Steakhouse. Jonathan Jossel, not only does he know who I am, he's extremely kind and generous with me, and he comped me dinner, and he introduced me to Oscar Goodman. If that isn't going to make a compulsive gambler the most grateful motherfucker on this planet, you tell me. You tell me how it gets any better. The only way it would get any better is if I went, and you know what? That's not even true because I don't even want to win his money in the casino. And full disclosure, after I went to Oscar's dinner series, I went down to the casino and I pissed away $2,500, which is another conversation. If you take care, it's not that I felt guilty, but I almost don't want to win. When I was staying at the Circle, when Richard Wilk had taken such good care of me, and he showed me the casino, and he gave me dinner at Barry's, he gave me a $700 dinner, and I didn't really want to go in the casino and hit them for 10 or 20 grand. I mean, I did win like maybe 5,000, and I almost felt bad about it, to be honest with you, but I really didn't want to. You know what I mean? So there are places that, as a compulsive gambler, but who also is a sensitive, but there are places I don't even want to beat.
What do you play, by the way?
Blackjack and craps. And I love crapless craps, even though it's terrible odds. But
why? Yeah, what?
10 times odds at the Strat. Wait. You ready? If you go to the Strat, they have a $10 craps table. And you like crapless craps because I love the 2, the 12, the 11, and the 3. If you play crapless craps at the Strat with 10 times odds, 10 on the line, 100 behind, it's only 0.6% for the house. It's almost the same as regular craps. It's almost the same. 345 is 0.0037. This is 0.006. It's very close. I won $270 last time I played. It's my guilty pleasure.
What's the most you ever won?
I won $179,000 in 6 hours with a $2,500 maximum. It was called Resorts. It's not related to the Resorts now, but it was Resorts Atlantic City in November of 1994. Unfortunately, I had lost $500,000 in October. So when I won the 179, it was just kind of like putting a dent in the way I had got destroyed the month before. So that was in one night. I mean, I don't know how I swear to you, the dealer only pulled on one hand the entire night. It was 6 hours of just winning and winning and winning. The most I ever won in a month was February of 1995. I won $400,000. I won $220 in Vegas, went to Lake Tahoe, won another 80, came back to Vegas and won another 100. So that was 220, 80, and 100. I went home. That was the whole month of February. In April of the same year, I lost $1 million. So the 400,000, I lost $1 million. When I lost $1 million, half of it was money I had and half of it was money I didn't have. And they call you up and they tell you, these are bad checks in the state of Nevada. You have cashed, well, the one that really came after me was the Desert Inn at the time. And the guy's name was Vince Rutter. And Vince Rutter was particularly nasty with me. And he said, listen, dude, if you are pulled over anywhere in the state of Nevada or California, you're going to jail. And I'm not going to let you out of jail until you pay us the $150,000 that you owe us. Vince, I'm really sorry, Vince. Can I pay something every month? Really kept, this is a true story, really kept the hammer on me. And in fact, you can go on Google. I'm going to tell you the rest of the story in a second. Really kept the hammer on me, So I was paying them $5,000 a month, which is really not much on $150,000. And one Monday I called up to tell Vince that the check was in the mail, which it was. And they told me Vince died yesterday. And I thought Vince was 41 when he died. But someone from my show, this is how rabid my followers are. Someone from my show found where he was buried, found the exact story. I know he died on a Sunday. He did die on a Sunday. I know it was 1995. He was 38 when he passed away. Someone on my show said he wasn't 41, Vegas Pauly. See, this is the level of detail on my show. I'm telling the story like Vince Rutter was 41 years old. So if you go on Google and you go to obituary.com or whatever the site is that keeps everybody, you'll find Vince Rutter. You'll find that he died at 38. So now the question became, are you going to go apologize? He was pretty tough with me. I mean, I feel bad. I'm not proud of it at all, but I think it's just an incredibly ridiculous story. You know, I mean, he probably was not really taken care of. I mean, he was thin. He wasn't a heavy guy.
But that business,
he was really nasty.
The stress level of that business is just,
you know, but this
come
goes
on, Paul.
But this is another conversation. Casino employees have it so hard, it's ridiculous. So you have to actually have empathy for them. You have to say, wow, because they just get fired. So someone will say to me, well, Vegas policy, you have such a big following. It's amazing. La, 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 la. How come nobody uses you? Because a casino employee who makes 60 or 70 grand a year, who says to himself, you know what? I'm going to give Vegas policy a shot. I'm going to let him show the expensive rooms in my hotel. I'm going to take care of him. And then Vegas policy goes in the bathroom and jerks off his toes. You're going to lose your job. I know they didn't fire Richard Wilk because he's, way up there in the organization. God love you, Richard Wilk. I'm sorry what I did there. But the point is they can't control me. So that's why nobody wants to use me.
I've never seen a city more about control. Well, probably on a global level, DC.
What about North Korea?
Well, I mean, like in the United States.
Pyongyang, North Korea.
States.
Okay.
You've got DC is crazy with control, but then Vegas is a whole, people have no idea about the level of control that companies and people have here.
Right. Well, everybody's looking to rip them off.
Everybody.
And
I said this to a guy earlier today. I've been here 15 years. Still, to this day, everyone here is full of shit until they prove themselves that
there's
they're
a lot
not.
of that too. Yeah, there's a lot of that too.
You have just a barrier.
But it's very, very galling to me because the dinosaur questions my credibilities. Now, let me ask you a question, Jeff. Do I seem like a guy who only knows 1% of the financials in this world?
Not at all.
I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, all the stuff that I rattle up, you could play back this podcast and number check every single thing I told you. Resorts World capital structure, $4.3 billion. They got a $3 billion check from the parent company. Genting Malaysia wrote a $3 billion check, put it into Las Vegas, so they only owe $1.3 billion. If they had to pay interest on all of the money used to build that property, they would be done already. Because at 9%, right, of $4.3 billion, it's roughly $1 million a day. They're only making $50 million a quarter. They're only making $600,000 a day. Their interest would be $400,000 more than they're done. The only reason they're still in business is because in Las Vegas is because they only owe $1.3 billion. Fontainebleau is extremely strained because, and I met the JP Morgan guy firsthand. He wouldn't tell me. I ran into him at a property, no names. And I said, what do they owe, $2.2 billion over there on their construction loan? He goes like this. So they owe over $2.2 billion at the Fontainebleau to the syndicate of banks. Blackstone is in there, or BlackRock. I always get them confused. Blackstone is the one that owns the casinos. BlackRock is the hedge fund.
Yeah.
So BlackRock is Fink, and Blackstone is the one that made the $4.1 billion on the Cosmo. So they're in the group. JP Morgan is not the bank, but they are the syndicator. That's not going to work out. I have a bet on when I have a bet that it will be reorganized within 2024, 2025. I bet $5,000 on it.
I think you're right.
I mean, come on.
I think you're right.
So who talks to me? People talk to me who like to talk about the casino industry. So I'm talking to a lot of casino executives that are between jobs that used to be here, used to be there, 40-year executives. And I say, and they love to tell stories, and they love to tell me about the Cosmo. When the Cosmo opened, they also had no players club, and that's why they languished until 2014. And Blackstone bought them for $1.7 billion, even though it originally cost $4 billion to build the property, and blah 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 blah. So I hear all these stories, and I say to them, "What do you think of the Fontainebleau? What do you think of the management there?" And every single time I ask that question, I get the validation that I'm looking for. If I heard, and I would tell you, I have no reason to lie to you. If one industry veteran or one industry participant right now told me something different, I would say to you, well, it's 1 for the yes and 9 for the no. No, everybody is like, no, not even close. So, I mean, this is what I have to tell you.
It's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing that they put that money in there.
Mind-blowing.
You know what the electric bill is on Resorts World?
How much?
It's $23,000 a day. So that means, and you know what the property taxes are on these big hotel properties? And this is public knowledge. You go look it up in Nevada. It's about $20 million a year. So you have an electric bill that's, I'm going to say at the Fontainebleau, it's $30,000 a day because I think it's bigger than Resorts World, but maybe I'm exaggerating. So you have $1 million a month just for the electric bill, and you have another $2 million a month for the property taxes. So you have $100,000 a day, do the math, for just the electric bill and the property taxes. Come on. You know how many, and the thing that people don't realize about the gaming business is, if you say to your gaming executives, Larry, Moe, and Curly, in this particular case, I want you to bring in $100,000 in business to the casino next month. Larry, Moe, and Curly have to spend $140,000 to bring in $100,000 in business. Why? Because you have to comp. I'm sorry. They have to win $140,000 because you have to cover $40,000 in comps and the $100,000 in win. It's going to cost you $40,000 to bring in $100,000. The reason I tell that story that way is because if you're penciling out financials, and they penciled out the financials for the Fontainebleau before they opened, they wrote in, Yeah, we're going to win $1.5 million a day in our casino, right? I guarantee, I said to somebody there before they opened, I said, what do you got penciled in? 2 million? I said, you'll be lucky if you win $1 million. You know, I'm like a little devil. So the problem is that in order to win 2 million, you have to give away 800,000 in comps. So when you win 2 million in your casino, what do you wipe out? Your hotel revenue. Because you have to give everybody a free room to win 2 million in your casino. What do you wipe out? Your restaurant revenue. Yeah. Because you have to give away $300,000 in food. That's like, you know, that's why I said before the Fontainebleau opened that they're going to need to do $4 million a day gross revenue in order to break even. And the math that I did was, well, I knew the operating cost across the street at Resorts World was $2 million a day. How do I know that? Because I read their financials. As our operating cost is $2 million a day. So in order to keep the doors open, you need to bring in $4 million because you need to pay $600,000 or $700,000 in interest, $600,000 or $700,000 in depreciation, and $600,000 or $700,000 in comps. So you follow that? 2 million plus 600,000 plus 600,000 or 700,000 plus another. So you need 4 million a day to have a GAAP profit. In other words, generally accepted accounting principles, where you account for depreciation and interest in order to be flat even. Could it be 3.3 million? Yeah. Could it be 4.3 million? Yeah. But I don't have access to their financials. That was just my opinion. And I did a video of that. That is a big number. Curious how much the Wynn Encore takes in? I was. So third quarter of 2023, the Wynn Encore. Place blows my mind, man. You guys at the Wynn Encore, please don't ever, ever mess with me because I just love you so much. That would be like a girl you're in love with, just taking a big shit on your head. Third quarter 2023, they did 6.2 million a day gross revenue, all in restaurants, entertainment, hotel, everything. It's public. It's online. You can go look on Wynn Corporate. Go look. And I was saying to myself, my God, you guys are doing 6.2 million a day. You're geniuses. I drop on my knees in your presence. Fourth quarter, they did 7.5.
You're kidding.
They raised it up $1.3 million a day, fourth quarter from third quarter. You know, F1 and whatever. And
right.
just the bottom line is, so what happens with the Vegas Pauly C show, I'm sorry for the ego in this. You ready for some ego?
Fine.
Okay. A lot of very wealthy people, a lot of New York, New Jersey people love this. See the speed I talk at, see the information? So I get a lot of very successful people, New York, New Jersey, right? And maybe one from Cali, but it's all New York, New Jersey guys. They're like, hey, Vegas Pauly C, you're from New York, right? I'm like, yeah, I was born in Roslyn. Oh, really? I was born in Manhasset. Oh, really? I'm from the 5 towns. Oh, really? I'm from New Jersey. So we commiserate and I talk to them. So I deal with a lot of wealthy people like that, just as friendships, you know? Every single one of them will tell you right to your face, they won't even consider another property besides the Wynn Encore. It's not even, they won't even. I ran into a guy in Manhattan. He's a funny story. He says to me, he goes, Paul, I'm $1 million player at the Wynn Encore. I believe it because I looked up his last name, no names. And I'm like, wow, these people are billionaires. It's the first billionaires I ever met for real. He goes, I went out for Super Bowl. I couldn't stay in the, what are they called? The really super great rooms that they won't let me into to tour, which I have. The villas. He goes, I had to stay in the duplex. That's how busy they are. That's how crazy they are. A guy with $1 million, this is what he told me. Whether he's telling me the truth or not, don't hold me to it. He said, I have $1 million credit line and I had to stay in the duplex. I couldn't stay in the villas. The villas were all taken for Super Bowl.
Slumming it in the duplex.
Yeah. I only tell you that story to tell you the level at which the Wynn Encore is killing.
Oh, it's amazing.
They're netting, net, 3.2 million a day in their casino last quarter. Net. The average slot machine there is well into the 800s a day. It was like 5 and change before the pandemic, or 4 and change. Then it was 750. Last quarter, I think it was 8 and change. $800 a day and change at the average. And you know what's funny about it? They're not even busy on the slot machines in there. No. When you look at the table games in there, Friday, Saturday night, they're pretty effing crowded, to be honest with you. But if you go during the week, they're not mobbed. I mean, I think they have a lot of room to grow from 3.2 million. It must all be taking place in the back. I'm sure, you know what? I'm being a little ignorant here, and I'm always the first person to say when I'm ignorant. All the big time gaming is taking place in the back. So my judgment of the floor is, but the slot machines are not crowded there. There's really no slot machines in the back, are there? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Slot machines are not crowded at the Wynn Encore, and they're still winning 800 a day. So it's damn impressive. They have a $5,000 machine there in the back. But so does the Cosmo. So do a lot of
I was going to
places.
say, who has the most, like the highest limit machine?
$5,000 machines. They have them at the Cosmo. They had one at the Wynn. They took it out. I ran over there to do a video of it to Cavell about it, and it was down to 1,000. But now they put it back. Now it's 5,000 again. It's a red, white, and blue sevens, I think, or whatever. It's a $5,000 machine.
God bless him.
Listen, you know, I love Steve Wynn, and I'm going to tell you why. And I love the people at the Wynn because you can go in there. I could go in there tonight with Anne-Marie, and I could get a drink for $20. They don't gouge you on the drinks. You know, at one time, I know the prices have changed a little bit, but at one time, a nice cocktail at the Wynn was $18. Across the street at Resorts World, it was $27. I did a video on this. I was like, why do they have the nerve to charge an extra $9 at Resorts World? Whatever. I'm not going to go too deep into that. The point is, I can go to the Wynn tonight with $100 and sit in one of the most beautiful places in the world outside on the terrace, overlooking the Lake of Dreams, watch the Lake of Dreams, watch the water show, feel welcomed, feel honored, have a cocktail or two, and be fake rich. And that's what I'm trying to be, because I'm not rich. I'm actually failing financially. I make sure I tell all the podcasts that. If you want to subscribe to Vegas Pauly, you have 104 subscribers on Instagram. It's $5 a month. I try and post special. I post my feelings on there if you're interested in my feelings. I'd love to get that up to 1,000, but it's 104 people. And it feels good to be fake rich, even if it's for a couple of hours. And isn't that what we're trying to do as gamblers? I don't feel fake rich at resorts. I feel like I'm at the mall. I don't feel fake rich at the Fontainebleau. I feel like I'm in Miami and I'm ugly and nobody loves me, which is what happens when I go to Miami. It's like I go to Miami, I'm 60 years old. I'm like a schmucky looking guy. I'm not going to go to Miami. I'm not running to Miami. If I ever make $1 billion, I'll be down in Miami.
I love that you're saying Miami, because I'll be there in 4 weeks. I'll be in South Beach with my girlfriend. We're going on a cruise out of Miami, but we always go to South Beach first for a couple nights. I've traveled. I've never been to a city or a geographic area with more beautiful people than South Beach.
Right.
Oh, and I'm not into Latinas at all. My girlfriend and I are like, oh my God.
I know.
I go to one place where I go, bring out a dish kid. I bet he's an 8.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone there is gorgeous.
I know.
Everyone fucking
the service people down there are like models.
And
every one of them.
And they're nice. And and then where are you from? I'm from Vegas. Oh, Vegas. I go, no. This is so much better.
I know. It's
with
incredible.
Consistently excellent customer service.
I lived there for 2 years. I know.
Oh my God.
But I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable there as a 60-year-old male with no money. You know what I mean?
Well,
I know where I belong. I don't belong at the Wynn Encore. See, here's the truth. Here's the secret of the Wynn Encore. Vegas Pauly C does not belong at the Wynn Encore. There was a time I lost $80,000 there in 2019 on one trip, and that was a lot more money. That was triple what it is now because all of the player prices changed. I belonged there when I was making great money years ago. I don't belong there anymore, but they don't judge me. I can still have a drink and sit there.
What's all that matters? Where do you belong? Where do you think you belong?
Honestly, right now, see, I'm scanning every single property in my head.
Do it. Take your time.
I mean, where would I enjoy or where do I belong?
Where do you belong? Where do you think you belong? Whereas Vegas Pauly C thinks he belongs right now?
Green Valley Ranch.
I was going to say the same thing.
Were you?
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
Swear on my kids' eyes.
Yeah, I had to really think about it.
Same thing.
Yeah, that's where I belong.
Because that's where Jeff Fargo belongs.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's funny.
Full disclosure.
Yeah.
When I take my kids on, I'm a big Hilton guy, so I get points all the time.
Right.
So Waldorf Astoria, because it's non-gaming.
Yeah.
I could take my kids are 14 and 8. We love it.
Yeah.
It's 5 stars. Customer service is amazing. Wonderful.
Everything
Chef's
there
kiss.
is beautiful.
Chef's kiss. Right. And I do it for my kids to say, work hard, work smart.
Right.
You can afford this someday.
Right.
Because this isn't because, you know, and so, but then we also go to we've done Lake Las Vegas is awful. So GVR is just, I mean, for any demographic, kids, no kids, date night, single, whatever, it checks every single box there is.
Red Rock Resorts is the most talented corporation in Las Vegas.
They're wonderful. And not a lot of people know this, when I was here and when COVID happened and when GVR was one of the first properties to come out of hibernation, and I'm with a friend of mine, at midnight they opened and we did a live stream of the line, everyone going in, went all through it. Friend of a
Everyone
friend,
was desperate.
a buddy of mine, I used to work for Greenspun. A buddy of mine was an editor there, got a hold of me. His daughter at the time was one of the top communications people, saw my video.
Right.
And this is how good they are, Paul, and said, hey, Jeff, can we use your video for training for our people?
Right.
To show them, like, this is how you reopen a place.
Right.
This is how you act. I go, of course you can.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for any comps. I didn't get any comps. Didn't want any.
Yeah.
But I was so impressed.
They know what they're doing.
They looked at a piece of social media content that touched them and said, we're not going to puff our chest and show it to everybody. We're going to show it to our people inside.
They got a lot of years in the business. They really know what they're doing.
Good for you.
They know what they're doing.
So for that alone, I'll wait in line to go to fucking Hank's. To get a goddamn dirty martini.
Right.
We will go.
Well, you're a passionate consumer of their product.
I swear they have children from Pyongyang, from North Korea, with itty bitty fingers packing fresh blue cheese in those goddamn olives.
Oof.
Oh, it's just...
That's a horrible thing.
It's a thing to behold.
That's a horrible vision.
You know what? Fuck them. I'm going to drink it. You know what? My grandmother, my little Jewish grandmother used to work at Bloomingdale's, Ethel Goodman, bless her heart, from Queens, New York.
Goodman. Wow.
Goodman,
I know people named
3216
Goodman.
Crescent Street in Astoria, Queens.
I know that address.
Is where she's from. And
I know Crescent Street.
She'd say, Jeffrey, the world always needs ditch diggers.
Right.
You're never going to be a ditch digger, but the world always needs ditch diggers. So, okay, fine. So you know what? Someone's got to fucking pump up my goddamn olive.
Okay.
With the blue cheese. Mazel. You know, they're doing me a mitzvah.
Right.
And good for them.
It's a great company.
Oh, I
didn't know they put blue cheese in olives.
What they do is a dirty martini.
Wow.
Anything else you're ruining. You're ruining the entire. But for the flavor profile, I will take you. It's unbelievable. Wow. And it's, for me, again, you know this, 99% of the people that call me and say, Jeff, I'm coming to Vegas. I'm like, good for you. Great. Yeah. Get a hold of me when you're here. 99% of them never get a hold of me. Don't care. Love you. Don't care.
Yeah.
But that 1%, and they'll say, where do you want to meet? And I'll say, we're going to Hank's. Where's that? Green Valley Ranch. Where's that? Henderson, Nevada. Where's that? I go 20 minutes off the strip.
They're disappointed, probably.
20 minutes off the strip. Actually, everyone I've taken there, fantastic. They have a bone-in filet.
It's a great property.
It's fantastic. And it's just, the whole property is just run. The movie theater's nice. I've gone with my ex. We go for movies.
There's so much going on there. It's the same thing with Red Rock. There's so much going on there.
It is the bizarro resorts world.
Right. I go around the corner, there's a movie theater. I go around the corner, there's an arcade. I go around the corner. I think there's a bowling alley at Red Rock. There must be.
I don't know.
Yeah, there is. I think there's 61. Yeah, there was like 60 lanes. I found it on the corner. I did a walkthrough there. It was 10 minutes. I love
it. Well, thank you for coming in. What I'd like to do is, like, once a quarter, have you come back?
If I'm still in the business.
If you haven't been whacked, or if you're still in the business, please, you're going to be around. And because I just think I love your brain. I mean, I reached out to you out of nowhere because I just said, hey, I have a little podcast. I love your content. I love who you are. And you were nice enough. We met for a cup of coffee. It was wonderful. And I love it where I can be entertained and educated at the same time.
Right.
You do both. That's rare. Especially with a guy with raging ADHD.
Right.
That takes enough Adderall to kill a family of 4. So I love what you're doing. You'll be tagged as a collaborator in everything that goes out, of course.
I'm not sensitive about the usage of anything.
But I want more people that love Vegas need to be absorbing and gobbling up your content. And get the goddamn subscription. $5 a month?
$5 a month.
Get the fucking subscription.
Thank you.
Do it, my friend. But thank you so much for coming in.
You want my outro?
Done. Well, wait, you know what? Do it, but then also we're going to do it out there too. But go ahead.
Vegas, Pauly C.
Thanks, everybody.